I'm going to share something today that I honestly haven't ever had the courage to share. I have spent my life projecting strength. I have spent my life looking good. I have spent my life proving that I can accomplish anything. I can do anything. And largely I have, as I think back to all the stuff that I've done. I don't often talk about some of the things that are running in the background. The instances where I struggle and things aren't going well. And so I'm going to talk about it today. I'm going to talk about my business, and I'm going to talk about the fact that in the past 4 months, I haven't had one new client start with me. Now, if you're not an entrepreneur, that may not sound like a big deal. If you're not a solopreneur, especially. But as a solopreneur, that is, or can be, very disconcerting. Like, what's happening? And for me, it raises the volume of the voices that start yapping in my ear. You're not enough. You're not good enough. Maybe they finally figured it out that you're a fraud. You're an impostor. You really shouldn't be doing this. You're not cut out for this. Maybe you should start looking for a job somewhere else or doing something else. Very often for me, that voice gets loudest at night at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, and it just starts going. And it's like a physical tightness. It almost feels like I'm wearing a straitjacket. My throat tightens. I feel it across my chest. It's pretty awful. And I'm in a business where client, for better or for worse, the word acquisition is a normal part of life. Phases of my business are a normal part of the business. So it's not uncommon to go through swings like this. And yet each time it happens, where there are extended periods of time, and I'd say 4 months for me is extended, where I start feeling this tension, this pressure. Now, here's the paradox. I have gobs of evidence to the contrary of all of those stories. Years of working with people, years of coaching, thousands of people whose lives I've changed. A track record. There's a body of work, whether it's Whole Life Challenge or it's CrossFit or it's just being a great fitness trainer, or my work as a Marine with my Marines that I had to get ready for combat. Over and over and over and over again, I have proved I've created this evidence. But guess what? None of it has been enough to quiet the voice. None of it. That's what's worth sitting with. I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget it. If the evidence doesn't quiet the voice, then perhaps the voice was never about the evidence. See, when I sit with this isn't a business problem. It's a problem inside of my inner operating system and my identity. It's one of the most common things I see in men that I work with. founders, executives, high performers. I mean, men and women. I don't know why I said men and not men and women, because it's all of us. People have built real things in life and then wake up wondering if they're really good enough to do any of it. So what's actually going on here? At some point early in life, anybody that's a high achiever learned that their value was contingent upon performance. Their worthiness was contingent upon performance. In order to stay safe, they had to perform at a high level. In order to belong, they had to prove their worthiness of belonging. So they built an identity around achieving. And that's not hard in the world that we live in, because we live in a world filled with achievement measuring everywhere. Even more so now with social media. It's become the badge of honor, proving your awesomeness. But when you build your identity around that, there's no finish line. Every time you go to prove something, you're only as good as the last thing you've accomplished. That original wound that you're protecting yourself from feeling, it's about worthiness. And there's no amount of achievement that can heal the wound that's built around your worthiness. It can't be done. So guess what? You keep proving. You keep looking for the next goal. We're a goal-oriented society, a world. And when the results slow down or stop, even if they're temporarily, guess what? The whole structure you built it on, it starts wobbling. So that voice that is yapping in my ear, that nighttime voice that comes in at 3:00 in the morning, it's not irrational. It's exactly the way the system was built. There's nothing wrong. I don't like it, but there's nothing wrong, because it's the sound and the feeling and the evidence of the identity, my identity, that's under threat, or your identity that's under threat if you're experiencing this. Now, there's some things that help me with this. I'm going to talk about things that actually can physically help me with them at night, but I'm going to talk about some concepts that are very, very helpful. My meditation practice, and then something called the 3 principles. In meditation, there's a meditation that you go through all the parts of you. You go through your senses, you go through your body parts, and you say, I'm not this. I'm not my nose. I'm not my neck. I'm not my heart. I'm not my arms, my right arm. I'm not my left arm. I'm not my hand. I'm not my smell. I'm not my sense of feeling. I'm also not my mind. And if you take it one step further, I'm not my thoughts. So that creates a little bit of separation. If I'm not my thoughts, then these are just thoughts and that are occurring. They're not mine. They're just thoughts that are occurring. That creates a little bit of separation. And then in the 3 principles, thoughts are automatic. Thoughts just come. Your machinery, like your mind, is a thought generator, if you think of it that way. Thinking 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. You've never been able to stop it. You've never been able to predict what the next thought's going to be. You're never going to be able to, because it's just going. And so what if your thoughts are just your thoughts and they don't mean anything? You're not your thoughts any more than you're not your kidneys, right? And the thought that I'm having, I'll never get another client. I'll never make more money. I'll never be successful. It'll never work. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts from a mind that's not me. It's in my skull, but it's not me. You know, I really like the acronym for fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Well, what if that's what we're talking about? This is just false evidence and it feels real because the thoughts feel real. They are real. They're not true necessarily, but they're real. And starting to orient yourself this way starts to create space, which doesn't make the experience go away, but very often it releases the stranglehold, the straitjacket, the noose that it feels like is around your neck or around your body, making it hard to breathe. It changes your relationship with it. You can stop being inside the thought and you can start watching it like a meta. So that's one part, but the other part is, what do you do when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and your thoughts are running wild? Those of you that have had this happen, like I have, it doesn't work very well to stay in bed. I've done that a lot and always thinking, oh, I'll just think this away. I'll get this to go away. I know better. I know the 3 principles. I know that I'm not my thoughts. I know that I'm not my body. I know all these things. And somehow that doesn't work. Your mind lives in the future when you're doing this, right? But your body lives in the present. So getting you back into your body brings you more into the present, because the future is what's causing the anxiety, right? So here are 3 things that actually work. The first thing is being aware of your breath and actually creating an extended exhale. I like to do a 2-for-1 exhale. So if I inhale for 5 counts, I exhale for 10. You don't have to make it hard. You can inhale for 3 counts and exhale for 6. You can really do this any way you want to. The key thing is you can stay in bed and you can breathe through the discomfort by just becoming aware of your breath. Double, you could even try triple. You could do 4 in and 12 out. You can experiment, but the exhaling longer activates your parasympathetic nervous system and can pull you back into a more relaxed state. And it also gets your mind away from the thinking that you're doing. Now, if that doesn't work, get the hell out of bed. Just get out of bed. Change your physical environment. You don't even have to do anything. I'm going to give you another thing that you can do, but go to the couch downstairs, wrap yourself up in a blanket and be in a different room. Get up and be in a chair. You know, you could, when it's gotten really bad, I've turned on a TV show and usually I fall asleep to the TV show, but I don't recommend that. I don't think that's the right way to do it. Just getting up and moving. Sometimes just going to the bathroom, getting a drink of water, looking at yourself in the mirror, remembering where you are, and then getting back into bed and seeing what happens. If you've got a spare bedroom, go to sleep in that bedroom. Give that a try. Now, the third one is going to sound kind of funny if you've never done this before. You ever notice when an animal does various things, not just when they're wet, but when they do various things, they'll shake. They like shake it off, right? Well, it works. It's an energetic removal of whatever energy your body's hanging on to. So allowing your body to shake. You start with your legs. I don't know if I can demonstrate this with my legs because my video is going to cut off. But you start with your legs and you start shaking, and then you move up your body. And then hit my hands on the desk. And then you start moving. And shake, you can do it for a minute. You can do it for 20 seconds. It seems crazy, but it has worked almost every time that I've done it. You're letting the energy, the nervous energy, the energy that's in you, you're letting it move through your body, and it bypasses your mind. You're literally out of your mind when you're doing it. So the goal is not to stop the things from happening that are happening, the thinking from happening. It's to interrupt the loop. And they probably won't stop things right away. But if you give your body something to do instead of spinning in your mind, it usually makes things better. Sometimes it doesn't lift till daybreak, and that's just the way it happens. See, here's the thing is, have you ever heard the phrase, what you resist persists? Resisting it doesn't work. It just hangs on more. So aligning with it, creating a relationship with it, these feelings of anxiety are not something to avoid. They're signals from your body. Your nervous system is telling you that something's off. Usually you're believing something that's causing you to resist life the way it is. And guess what? When you resist life, I love this quote from Byron Katie, when you resist life, you lose, but only 100% of the time. See, it's not the signal that's the problem. It's the belief. It's the assumption underneath. So you watch, you breathe, you wait, and then morning comes. Now look, here's the thing. You're never going to get rid of these. Probably. If you're a high achiever, you'll probably have these sorts of episodes. The goal is just to know how to work with yourselves when they show up. And to recognize it not as the truth. It's not the truth. You must have like a mad scientist, a crazy person inside your head that's generating all these thoughts. They're not true. They're real, but not true. Remember that this is your old identity defending itself against the possibility that your value was never contingent upon results. Your value was never contingent upon your results. You think it is. You keep operating the way it is. You keep trying to prove that the results will get you the peace and the joy and the happiness that you want. And it never does, because there's always the next thing. Proving's never going to get you there, because guess what? You're already there. There's nothing to fix. You just can't see it yet. And on the nights when that voice comes back loud and convincing and relentless, you don't have to believe it. You just have to wait for the light.